Lori, Late Night Lori, from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin. Checking to see if we have sound. Lori, Late Night Lori. We do have sound. Welcome. We do have. Hello, ladies. Welcome. Let me see if I can get my iPad to catch up with me. It's always a little behind. Hello, Rosa. Hello, Ellie. How are you tonight? And Allie, I did see that you just sent me some either emails or messages or something. I just didn't get to them yet. Hopefully this hasn't locked up. My iPad did. No, we're good to go, I think. My iPad is so temperamental. It just doesn't want to keep up. All right. I think we're good to go. I'm just going to stop playing with it. So, welcome. How was everybody's Friday? Hi, Roz. Welcome back. How's the ankle? Oh, what kind of new goodies did you get? What did you get, Rosa? Oh, here's the number 4. I can't lose. I have hardly been at my table tonight. So we'll see how our box making goes. That's what I was getting prepped. I think it'll go fine because my notes from last night say that we're going to do this card again, but do a horizontal bow, or a ribbon rather, and then emboss a sentiment on one of our strips. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, yeah, your ankle will probably do some complaining when you do too much. Oh, the beautiful gallery is indeed beautiful. I don't know so much about spell check, but my issue is autocorrect. When I'm using my phone and I try to send out a text message. Hello, Nicole. Welcome back. It's been a bit since you've been with us. I'm just looking at a note that I had that you were offered that contract for work. Did you accept it? See, that's why I take notes. Sometimes I have to refer to them. Yeah, you do have to get out once in a while. I actually, my husband and I went out. Let me back up. First week of your new job. Well, congrats on the new job. I don't remember. Are you doing elementary school? Younger children? I don't remember. But anyway, my day started with heading over to our wellness center to walk with a friend that I used to work with. So we walked about 3 miles. I got a lot of steps in. And then when I came home, my husband and I decided to go out to lunch because it was lunchtime by then. Kindergarten to year six. Okay. So sixth grade, kindergarten. Yeah, that would be year six. We call it, yeah. All right. So then we went to lunch, and then we went out further. Lunch was about 20 minutes away where we went for the restaurant. And then we went to a store that's about 20 minutes further than that. We ended up getting another chicken. It's his fault. It's totally MacMan's fault. And then on our way home, actually, it might have still been when we were at the store picking out the chicken. My friend called me. Has anybody ever played Bunko? Well, they needed a substitute. They play with 8 people. They play pairs. It's a game where you roll the dice and there's no skill involved. It's just fun. And so she needed a substitute for one of their people that couldn't play. So this was the second time I was a sub for them. So that was fun. And then I came home and I sat on the couch and read for a little bit. And then I came in here and now it's already time to go live. So yeah, Bunko. I knew what you meant, Roz. So anyway, let's go through some of these quickie comments here. No uno. What's an Anzac Memorial? Is that something specific to Australia, is my guess? So I guess you're probably done looking at me. So you guys know the drill. Yeah, Bunko is quite fun. We had a good time. I was a loser, but I wasn't the biggest loser, so it's fine. If you want to see all the things Stampin' Up, new products, upcoming products, specials, promotions, catalogs, etc., if you want to order from me, latenightlori.stampinup.net. Oh, your Veterans Day. Why was I thinking that was in January? What holiday? Okay. Do you have a holiday in January that's military related? I don't remember. See, I need to take better notes and have them more readily available than just little post-it notes with things. Paper Pumpkin subscription period is open until May 10th. Yay that this is now a global option for everybody. May's kit is a Sparkling Celebrations 9 cards rather, 3 of each of 3 designs. There's a bunch of silver foiling and stuff, so that ought to be fun. In the United States, if you have a qualifying purchase of at least $75 before tax, shipping, after bonuses, Stampin' Rewards, coupons, that sort of thing, you can add this lovely die to your cart for just $5. We played with it a little bit last night. Use wax paper to help your paper come out of the die. It helps a lot. Okay? If you've got questions on that, let me know. There's a lot of last chance products available. Get your deals while they're there, because once they go away from the last chance list, they won't come back. They'll be discontinued. All right? So you do minutes silence November 11th, and that's our Veterans Day in the United States. I wonder if the months have just gotten away from me and I've lost track. All right, and then we've got a new catalog coming up. So if you're not a demonstrator, if you don't have a demonstrator, if you're not in the United States and you would like a catalog, I would be more than happy to help you with your crafting needs. Email me at lorimacari@gmail.com. Let me know that you would like a catalog, and I would be more than happy to get a catalog out to you. You now remember those who served in any conflict that Australia's been in. That's nice. I mean, whenever we go out anywhere and we see military personnel, my husband especially makes a special, he takes the time to recognize them and thank them for their service. So that's awesome. In color. In colors are leaving us. So the 2024 to 2026 in colors will be leaving. So they are currently on the last chance list. So I didn't check today. As of yesterday, there were still quite a few options. Some of them are reduced in price, others are not, like the stamp pad collection, because that's already considered a bundle with the reduced price. That doesn't have a reduction there, but you can see some of the other products do. Some of these things like the Summer Splash alcohol blends are showing as currently unavailable. Pretty in Pink is showing as currently unavailable for the alcohol blends, or they were yesterday. And when it tells me currently unavailable, it means that they have, hello, Suzanne. When it says currently unavailable, it means they're expecting some in. So you'd want to, if that's something you want, make sure that you mark the box that says notify you when they come in, so that when they do come in, you can snag them up right away. But once they come off of the last chance list, they won't be back. All right. Some of these other things said low inventory. We've used this bundle a couple of times this week as well. Something to keep in mind when you're going on the last chance list. Remember, I've mentioned the last couple of nights, last night especially, that the bundles, just like those ink pads, since they're a bundle already, they are not discounted more. So you are better off buying the items individually because you'll get a better deal, okay? Because these are already discounted 10% by making it a bundle. These are discounted however much Stampin' Up! Wants to discount them, okay? So to get these together, excuse me, to get these together at the discounted price is $39, which is considerably less than the $45.75. So keep that in mind anytime that you're shopping the last chance list and you see bundles. Always look at the prices of the standalone items, because you more often than not will get a better deal that way. Okay. Now, anybody who orders from my website, from my store, through the end of this weekend, so through Sunday midnight my time. I'm in Wisconsin in the United States. Currently, oh, and I forgot to say I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from Wisconsin. We're going to make believe that I started Friday night at like 11:59 p.m. Technically, we're at Saturday morning at 12:25 a.m. So anyway, through the weekend, so through Sunday midnight my time, if you place an order through my store of at least $20, I will be gifting you 5 card bases of the outgoing in colors. All right. So you'll get one of each. And I should probably put them, this is the order that they showed up in the catalog, but this way you can see it a little bit better. So this is a Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, Shy Shamrock, Peach Pie, and Pretty in Pink. So I will gift you 5 card bases if you place an order of at least $20 before tax and shipping, after any discounts. You have to order from my store. If you spend at least $40, I will gift you those card bases, plus I will gift you a length of ribbon. Not a whole roll, but I will gift you a length of ribbon so that you could make a couple of cards with what we're doing. Okay. So with your card bases, you know, let's say you wanted to reproduce this and maybe you wanted to make 2 cards. Cut this in half, put it on a white card base, and doll it up however you want, right? All right, and then we'll add the ribbon if you do that. All right. Let's get down to business. Who was it that asked for the box? I don't remember who last night asked for the box for our cards, for like our flight of cards. So I did these a couple of nights ago. These are the ones we did last night. Tonight we're going to do them with the ribbon going this way, and we're going to emboss on, it may have been Chantel. I think you're right, Suzanne. And if she doesn't come on, she can watch the replay, but the box is what I have prepared. So we'll see how long it takes to get through making the box. But then we'll make at least one of these and see how it looks. But we'll have the ribbon going this way because I thought it was really cute that way. And then we'll just, instead of putting a separate piece on for the sentiment that would cover up some of these pretty papers, we'll just emboss on our cardstock, on our designer series paper. Thank you, Allie. They're kind of fun. And then the other cards I made, I still didn't glue them together, ladies. I apologize. I'll bring over those samples. And these we used, so these were the night before last. And we used the, sorry, pretend it's glued. Maybe tomorrow I'll get these done. But we did a whole flight of these. We used the beautiful motifs, which is part of that beautiful gallery set of stuff. So those are the flights. I'm calling these flights, like a flight of beer, which I don't drink, or Linda from last night set a flight of wine. I didn't know places did flights of wine. All right. So that's what we're going to work on. So let's get busy with a little box. All right. So that if you were to gift a bunch of your cards, let's say you're going to make a flight of cards, you could gift them to somebody and make them look like they're a gift, not just here, have a card. All right. So what color should we make our box? One of these colors: Petunia Pop, Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, Peach Pie, or Pretty in Pink. I should have some music while I'm waiting for anybody to answer. Peach Pie. Roz, you're the first one, so we're doing Peach Pie. Let me get a piece of peach pie. Because then what I will do is, when I gift this to somebody, I would put the peach pie card as the top card. Okay? So I played with this a little bit. Let me move some of my things out of the way so that I can lay this flat. And maybe I should zoom out. Well, I think I'll leave it here so you can maybe see more of what I'm doing. I think that should work. All right. So when you're making a box, there's a bunch of different ways you can make a box. I like to try to do a box that can conceal some of my, I thought your flight reference today, as you were eating a bunch of different M&Ms. It was a flight of M&Ms. I love that. Were they regular M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, or peanut butter M&Ms? Well, I'll end up doing several, but Roz was the first one that said peach pie, so we're going with that. All right, so as I was saying, when I do my boxes, I like to kind of conceal some of the edges so that it just doesn't look like I glued something together, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I have measured basically like an envelope so that I can work around. Oh, you had the whole smorgasbord. I was thinking just different colors, but you're talking about all the different flavors. The only one that I'm not real keen on, the caramel ones are okay. The cold brew ones, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I'm working on it because where I do my coffee in a card, Heather, the owner, makes me coffees that I really like. She doesn't put quite as much coffee flavoring in them. So I'm developing my taste for coffee. So anyway, when I do a box for something, I typically will start with the measurement of the item I have, add about a 1/16 of an inch, and then add how deep it's going to be. So like this one, we're really close to this 8.5 by 11, right? And the way I'm going to do it this time is I want to add 2 inches because I want to have the walls an inch, but I want to have them doubled. So normally when we do a box, we would just kind of do, we'd go here, we'd cut it and we'd fold over and glue the flaps, right? Well, I'm going to show you something a little bit different. I have not seen popped M&Ms. I will have to watch for those because that would be something that I would like to try. Chai latte is my drink of choice, Nicole. And then when it cools off, then I'm drinking not necessarily iced chai, but cold chai instead of hot chai. All right, so let's get down to business. So I measured out this envelope and it is about 4 3/8 by 5 7/8 ish, something like that. So I don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. All right, so when I add my 2 inches to like 4.5, 5, 6, 7, 8.5, I'm like right at the width that I need. Okay. Oh, Roz, I didn't. I'll have to watch for them. So you didn't try them. You didn't cave. You're a stronger woman than I am. All right. So then we're going to keep it our 8.5. And then I'm going to go to almost 10 inches. I'm just going to do slightly smaller than 10 inches. Hopefully this is going to work out. I played with it a couple of times and I think I've got the math correct in my head. So I'm just going to go to 10 inches and then scooch back one little mark. Okay. So for those of you that don't like 1/16 of an inch measurements, don't think of it that way. Just think of going back a mark from our whole number. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of my cutter so that I don't mess anything up. And what I want to do is score at 1 inch and at 2 inches on all of the sides. But I'm going to go just a smidge under the 1 inch mark. Not quite to 1/16, I think. Or, yeah, the 1/16 short. Oh, well, I'm a member at Costco, so I'll have to go check them out. So I'm just going to go a smidge under the 1 inch. And by the time I do it on both sides, it will probably be a 1/16 of an inch. So I'm just going to go a smidge and we're going to go ahead and score. Now, I'm going to move this score line because I don't want to watch over here because that's going to be too hard for me to back up like 1 inch and not a smidge sort of thing. So I'm going to take this score line and I'm going to move it over to the inch mark because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 marks here and you can't see it, but I can see it. My score line is right here and that matches up with this. And then I'm just going to back it up a little bit. Now, the reason why I'm backing it up a little bit is that I need a little bit more width. And in order to do that, these sides have to be just not quite a full inch because I don't have enough room with that 8.5. But if I don't do all the 4 sides the same measurement, then they don't fold right. Hopefully it'll make sense later. All right. So we're going to go to 1 inch and then we're just going to back it off a little bit. Back it off a little bit. And then again, I'm going to take this score line, I'm going to go over those 4 little marks that'll represent my 1/4 inch marks, and then I'm going to back it up just a little bit. And hopefully this will work like a charm. So is everybody following what I'm doing here so far? And I'm going over here. I'm not looking over here, remember, because these numbers are just going to mess me up. Math is this late in the day. I do not want to do 16ths and 1/2 of 16ths, which would be 30 seconds if I don't have to. All right, so let's go to that 4 hash marks there. And hopefully this is gonna work out beautifully since I'm on camera, and you will all be super impressed at my prowess at making a box. We'll see if it works out. And then our last one here. And again, you can't see my score line, but I can. All right. And then for right now, I'm going to get rid of my box or my trimmer. So now when I put this in here, I have a nice little box. I'm going to use a pencil just so you can kind of see. So I've got a score line here, a score line here, a score line here, and a score line here. So I have got about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. All right, so just doing that smidge under an inch all the way around worked out pretty well, okay? So now what I want to do is take my snips, and we could actually fold these a little bit just so it's easier to see with the lighter paper. We'll burnish these later, but we're going to end up trimming these. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to erase these little marks because that'll show on the outside of the box, and I don't really want it to. Rosie, you're crafting at the same time. That's awesome. All right, so now what I want to do is we're going to cut our strips, all right? Now, I'm going to cut on these long lines up to my score line. And on this flap here, I want to make sure I'm cutting off my score line, okay? So I want to make sure that that bump from the score line is getting cut off. Can you, I don't know if you can see. So there's my score line, and I'm cutting so that none of that is hanging off onto there, all right? I hate to belabor the issue, but I want to make sure that you actually can see what I'm doing. And so that I keep myself straight, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my paper all the way over because I want to make sure I do the same cuts on the other end. Okay. Now, these can just be straight. I don't need to miter anything. Okay. Now, this edge, I do want to miter just a little bit, just the outside edge. So again, it doesn't have to be a lot. I'm doing between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch. I wouldn't go any more than that. I wouldn't go any more than like an 1/8. That's about an 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go all the way up to that 2-ish line, all right? And for me as a left-hander, I'm just going to flip this so I can miter this one as well. And then we're going to turn it around. I'm going to miter this one. And then I'm going to flip it over and miter this one. However it works for you to miter, okay? That's how it works for me. All right, and then we are going to just ever so slightly, these short flaps, just on the end piece, just miter it a smidge. Not very much at all, because this is going to create an inside corner, and I don't want there to be much of a gap. All right, so just a smidge just on this half, the outer half, okay? We'll turn it around and we'll do this. And I'm gonna flip it over here and I'm gonna do here. Just a smidge. And I'm angling it. All right, so miter is just cutting in an angle, all right? So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this edge here, and I want it to be on the outside of that mountain so that this end piece does not have any of the score line, okay? So let's do that all on them. I'm gonna do this one on this side just so it makes sense. So I'm leaving the score line on the center piece, okay? So the center piece should have those score bumps on each side of it. Because I do not want the extra bulk of those, okay? And then these middle fingers, we're gonna cut them off. So I'm reading your comment, Nicole. I think that's a wise decision. And now these pieces, we're gonna cut them off and we're gonna take that score line with us, okay? And because I'm left-handed, I gotta struggle with these sometimes. It's probably the same for right-handed people as well, all right? So this one, I'm just gonna kind of fold up out of my way. Hopefully you can still see okay. All right, so I'm taking the score line away. So here's what we've got. This is gonna become our box. And those of you who have made boxes before probably can see where this is going. All right, but before we do that, we're gonna put on some adhesive, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and put some tear and tape here. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it neatly and straight cut my edges. And then here, we're gonna put tear and tape just on that long middle section, not the flaps, okay? And I don't know if you've noticed, when I do my tear and tape, I put my hand through the circle and unroll it that way by holding it between my thumb and my forefinger so that I can have better control of it. That works for me. Because otherwise I don't know how else to do it, because when I do it like this, I can't control the flow of it very well. So this is what works for me. So if you struggle with tear and tape, maybe try putting just your fingers through the roll of your non-dominant hand. And again, we're doing just this long middle section, not the flaps, all right? And we're doing it on the outer edge. And it doesn't have to be exactly to the edge of the paper. Not a big deal. But I want it to be pretty darn close. Yeah. Who would we call? You'd have to give us your emergency contact information. Hopefully your deep clean won't take 3 days. I think sometimes cleaning is overrated because it's just going to get dirty or dusty like 5 seconds after I'm done. Because that's just the way it seems, okay? So I like to burnish on my tear and tape, you know that, all right? So now what I wanna do is, I wanna just flick off part of an end. We've done this before. So when I fold this all the way in, I wanna flick it to the outside edge, okay? And you'll see why in a minute. It kind of, I've done this a few nights ago even, all right? So, actually this one's not gonna matter. We're going to go ahead and I can just take this one off, so disregard. Just do the flags on your short sides because this one we're gonna go ahead and adhere it to itself. So just go ahead and fold that in and stick it on. So you could use your liquid glue if you want. You could use seal if you want, whatever works. And actually I should be burnishing the tape on as well as my edge. All right, here's where I want them, the corners kind of flipped over. So when we pull this in, and I should probably burnish these as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and burnish this right away too. Because we'll need those burnished anyway. All right. So now we're going to fold these in and stand this up. Fold in our flaps and stand them up. And now I want to make sure that these pieces here are all the way in. Okay, I don't want them angled at all. All right, and I don't want them so far in that they're not flush here, which is why we only mitered the one side, okay? So that I don't have to fight with it, okay? So what I want to do now is fold this down and start peeling this up a little bit more, I guess. So that those edges are flush. And then we can peel this off and stick it down, okay? Now see how nice that looks? Normally with our boxes, you have the little flaps because normally it would be like this and you would just glue the flaps down, right? And then you have these loose flaps in here. This way, we don't have that. The flaps are hidden. And I just think it looks nicer. And here you've got nice straight edges. I just think it looks nicer. All right, so let's do the same thing here. Okay, I'm going to peel this a little bit more, and I can fold this in, and I'm going to make sure my edges are in, and then I can start pressing down my adhesive piece. Oh yeah, you do have to kind of clean when there's company coming, huh? All right, so I'm just going to burnish these really good because I don't want them to come loose later. All right, so here's our nice little box. Now, if I would not have burnished those corners, it's hard to get it nice and crisp once it's glued together, right? Or once you've used your adhesive. All right, so let's get 5 envelopes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how nicely those fit? All right. And then we've got our 5 cards. And those fit nice. All right. So yes, they kind of poke out when they're not together. I mean, when they're just loose. But now we're going to make a cover for this. And I like to use window sheets. All right. Because I want them to be able to see my cards. So let's put this peach pie one on top because that matches the box. Okay. And we are going to get a window sheet. And I'm just going to put a Post-it note on here. And I'm also going to get, because I have some adhesive on here and I don't want it to get on my window sheet, I'm going to get a paper placemat. And these are the new grid sheets that match the size of our glass mat. All right. So here is my window sheet. And then I'm going to look at my trimmer. And my trimmer has some gunk on it. Let me look at my other trimmer to see if that one's cleaner. Okay, so this one's a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead and take just an alcohol swab and I'm going to clean it a little bit more because I don't want any adhesive to mar up my envelope. All right, and then I'm going to make sure that this is clean as well, because if I have any adhesive stuck on here, that also can mess up my window sheet and make it look ugly. Ask me how I know. Yep, it happened. Now, did anybody realize that this slot on here can help you measure your envelopes? When you've got a card to put through there, it'll help you know if your card is not quite a 1/4 inch, but if just your card can make it through, once you get in an envelope, if you can kind of push it through, it should be regular standard mail size. Did that make sense? All right, I think we're good. And if it gets a little gunky at this point, I think it'll be tolerable. Hopefully. All right. So now we're going to take our window sheet and I think I want to make it, what did I do with my note? Here we go. My window sheet, I'm going to do a 6x8, but it's going to be just a smidge less, just a 1/16 of an inch less. So I'm going to do 6 inches. I'm sorry, it's going to be 7x8 less a 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to go 7 inches. Let me just measure that box to make sure. Measure twice, cut once, right? So if we've got 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. Hopefully I measured right. 4, 6.5. I got to think through this math because I don't want to mess it up. So if we've got 4.5, 5.5, 6.5 minus, okay, my measurements are right. Phew. So I'm going to go to 6 and 7/16. So that's just one. I was messing myself up because I had placed it at the 15/16. So we're going to go to 6 and 7/16. So just one mark behind the 1/2 inch mark. All right. And we're going to cut it. And I'm going to get rid of this smaller piece so I don't mess myself up. And then we're going to turn it and we're going to go to 8 inches and we're going to back off a 1/16 of an inch. 6, 7, 8. All right, double check my math. All right, so 8 inches and we're just backing up 1/16. You probably can't see that very well. You'll just have to trust me. All right, and now comes kind of the challenging part. I can get rid of the arm here because we don't really need that. I'm going to score this at 1 inch all the way around. Get the blade out of the way. So are you saying a great idea with the Post-it note? Or the crafting marathon when they leave? Both are good. The Post-it note is great when I set something down and then I put things on top of it and I can't remember where I put my window sheet. So here we're going to go ahead and score at 1 inch all the way around. And you need to score a lot and you need to score hard. You will not score through your window sheet. I will almost guarantee it. All right. So I'm going to score a lot. Okay. And I can see it, but it's still going to be hard. Window sheet, cleaning the glue, and the Post-it note. Yes. All right. And cleaning, I had made a box top and I was looking at my glass mat and I had cleaned it, but I had gunk picked up on here. And then tonight I realized it's because I had gunk on my trimmer. All right, so let's go to 1 inch and score like crazy. And then 1 inch. And you can, I don't know if you could see the little plastic shreds that are kind of coming off. I'm being pretty aggressive because window sheets are pretty sturdy. Okay, so there's that. Now this is going to be kind of the hard thing to show you because what I need to do is, you probably can't see these very well, but my corners here, these like 1 inch squares, I need to cut those out of here. And I'm not saying just cut a tab, I'm saying cut them out. And I'm gonna, because there's not a big bump for the score line, I just want to make sure that I cut the line off. And this is a challenge, not only because I'm on camera, but because if you're working under lights of any kind, you get glare on your window sheet. And it just makes it a challenge. So it's not just because I'm got an audience, it's just because maybe it's my glasses, I don't know. Even when I take my glasses off, it's a bit of a challenge just to see that I'm getting on the line. And I don't want to color on the line because I don't want it to smear. I don't want to have colored lines visible when I'm done. And with my luck, I wouldn't make a straight line. Now what you could do, which would make it easier, is if you wanted to put, like here, a sticky note on all of them, you'd have to use like 2 sticky notes because you'd run out of stickum. But you could go like this, and it does make it maybe a little bit easier to see the lines. So use that however you want. And I guess really, if you can get this piece off, you could probably reuse this piece and put it on the next corner. So something to think about. All right. So let me get rid of this debris. And then I'm going to have to go off camera a little bit, but I'm going to explain what I'm going to do. Now, I can tell this is my valley and this is my mountain. And what I want to do is I'm going to take this to the edge of, well, if you make it with cardstock, then you can't, oh, you could make a big window on it, sure. You definitely could. All right. but I kind of like how it looks when there's just the window sheet. All right, so we've got our corners cut out on each side, right? All the 4 corners are cut out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this over to the edge of my craft table, and I am going to push like here. I'll take and I'll put this with my desk here and the edge of the desk here, and I'm just going to push this down, all right? And make sure you don't have any adhesive gunk there. And then once I take it off my table, I'm going to squeeze it right where it is. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to score it. Or I'm going to burnish it rather. And the window sheet burnishes really nicely, okay? So now I'm going to do that on the next side. And I tend to do both the opposite side, so I'm doing both of the long sides first because that's what works for me. And you can see how nice and crisp those get. We can loosen them up. All right, and then I'm just going to fold this one a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and try to open these up a little bit just so I can fold it down, that short side. Squeeze. Because it doesn't fold nice like cardstock or designer series paper when you have a fold. The acetate, the window sheet, doesn't fold super nicely. I struggled with it. So if you can do it this way, great. Hey, Juju. I got some Happy Mail today. We'll see if I can play with it over the weekend. I'll be doing some quilling. All right, so let's just go ahead and lay that down there and squeeze that edge over. So if you can fold your window sheet just by hand and then burnish it, go for it. I have to use... That's funny. We'll see how it works out. I don't know if I'll do that on camera or not. This is just the way putting it at the end of my table works out best for me. All right. So here's our little cover, and I want to loosen these up so that they're not angled in. I want them kind of either straight or angled out just a little bit. And then here's our card. Keep your fingers crossed. Look at how nice that looks. Beautiful. And then if we wanted to do a length of ribbon, we could go ahead and put this on here. And maybe like up here, camouflage the knot bow and make a real bow. And then we could put a little tag on it. Let me flatten that out. We could put a nice little tag on it. And this would make a great gift to gift cards to a friend. So they've got enough room to get the cards out. They've got enough room to get the envelopes out. The cards and everything are not popping out of here. So even when we didn't have the ribbon on, they're pushing up a little bit because of our bows. So what you could actually do is maybe flip every other one. Make them work for their gift. And then they lay a little bit flatter. So you could even do this without the ribbon on it if you wanted. Okay. I think the ribbon is a really nice touch though. So if Chantel comes on, she's going to have to watch the replay. Thank you for all the hearts, everybody. But I think it looks best with the ribbon, don't you? Let's see if I can get this tied again. How did I do that? I think I did it this way before. Sorry, I couldn't feel a ribbon. I'm reaching for it and I'm not picking it up because I couldn't feel it. I think I might have had it going. Here we go. I'm getting there. All right, so there's our pretty little bow. And like I said, we put a tag on it. All right. So there we go. And I don't want to cut this just in case I need to send off some ribbon. 60% finished with your craft room. Awesome. I didn't make your live at all tonight. I'll try to catch the replay, but I saw that you were doing some more organizing or cleaning or something. All right, so I love this. All right, so if you missed making the box, watch the replay. I think it would be worth your time. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the alternate of this one and putting our ribbon going this way. So I think, was everybody wanting me to do a Shy Shamrock box before? We'll do the Shy Shamrock card. How's that sound? Thank you for all the hearts, you guys. I love it. So I enjoy doing boxes, but sometimes it takes some trial and error, okay? Oh, and in fact, let me show you my little template if you want to do a screenshot of it. And actually, I'm going to mark this. Where's my pen? You want to, where it shows here that I mitered this edge. When I did my sample, I mitered the outside edge. I should have mitered the inside edge. So my template is correct. Okay. You're welcome, Rosa. Thanks for watching. Are you heading off to bed now? So follow my template, not necessarily what I demonstrated. It worked out. It didn't adversely affect anything. But you want to miter this edge because when you fold it down, we want the straight edge coming up here. I mean, we want the straight edge at the bottom. So maybe I did miter. I want to miter that one. I have to think. Yes. Yes. So miter this edge. I think I messed up both things. We're going to miter that edge. All right, so there's a little template. This should work now, okay? Sleep well, Rosa. And then you can see where I did a little bit of math. I was adjusting my numbers and I went to the larger side. I should have gone to the smaller side. So this is the correct measurement, 9 and 15/16. So if you go to 10 inches and just go back one mark, okay? And then here we're scoring just a smidge less than an inch and then just a smidge less than 2 inches all the way around, okay? And then for your window sheet, you're going to do, like this one was 4.5 plus 2 inches because I needed an inch height. So that got us to 6.5 inches, which is 6 and 4/16. And we needed to go down to 7/16. Is that right? No, 8. Just go to 6 and 7/16. So it's just a smidge less than an inch and a half. And then this is just a smidge less than 8 inches. So you found all your adhesives and you already ordered more? That's all right, you'll go through it, right? Adhesives is one of those things that you can always have. Sometimes I order, depending on where I'm at, sometimes I'll just order an adhesive every time I put in an order. All right, so there's the template for the box. All right, let's go and do a Shy Shamrock card. Let me find my designer series paper. We'll find some Shy Shamrock ribbon. And we'll get that done right away, I think. Sometimes being left-handed is just such a challenge. Because I need that loose end for my left hand. Right, and then this is going to go like here. So we'll cut it about like so. All right, and we need a white layer that is 4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to go there. And then we need some designer series paper. And I have to find what I did with the current pack. Here it is. And let's pull out some Shy Shamrock. That would be this one. And this one. I am down to one piece of Shy Shamrock. I could use this one and hang on to that one. Oh, maybe I do have. I'm down to 1 1/2. All right, so we're going to go to 3 3/4 and 1 inch, and we're going to do 2 of those. And then we're going to get our other design. I'm going to do 3 3/4 this way. 1 inch there. And then this one, I'm going to go horizontal. All right. So those can all go there. Let's start gluing. I should have turned my fan on. It's kind of stuffy in here. All right. I'm not going to glue this one down because we're going to do our embossed words on there. So don't let me forget. I think that one will work for the words. I probably should have put the words on that one, huh? Too late now. Alley-oop. And then this one we can do later. So if we put this one here, our knot is going to come here. Let's just go ahead and put that now because I think it'll be easier for me. All right, we may have to trim this down a little bit. I'll decide that once we put it on here. Maybe just a little bit. All right, so then let's do our sentiment. And we're going to have to do it in a contrasting color because I don't think, well, we could do white, but I'm just afraid it's not going to show up enough. So I think we're just going to do it in the black embossing powder. Gold. I gotta find black. Black. All right. All right, let's get our sentiment. I think we're going to do just a note on this one. Because I don't want to do thinking of you again. I think I want just a note. So let's put this on a block. Both of these blocks are super dirty. And let's just kind of line this up where we're going to want it. I think it could probably go in the center. Should we do it in the center or off to the right to balance that ribbon, that knot? Maybe to the right might work best, huh? So we'll just go right about here. And I'll just let that kind of adhere to the paper. Allie, just do the replay for the strip. Oh, for the strips. They're 3 3/4 by 1 inch. Let's try just a little bit more. I probably shouldn't have brushed it off quite so fast. I usually try to let it stick a little bit better. That ought to work. Right. So time for baby Hank. Now I'm going to try to mute this and hopefully it won't mess things up. Are we good? Are we back? Hopefully I didn't mess it up. Whoops, I guess I didn't put the cover back on there. I'm so used to having the cover on it. And we could do an alley-oop on here, but I don't want to mess up my embossing, so I think that's going to work. Now, I'm going to move the ribbon down just a tad because I want to equally fill that space. So let's just move it down a little bit. Oh, that's better. There. And then we can put this up on dimensionals. Oops. Come on. There. Got them all. I think. Nope, missed that one. There we go. All right, and then we need some embellishments. We'll use these Shy Shamrock ones. I think my take your pick tool probably would have been helpful, but that's all right. All right, so there's a little different there. So what do you think, horizontal or vertical? What do you think's better? This one actually looks a little taller. So they say stripes that go this way make you look fatter, and lateral or vertical ones make you look taller. Maybe it's even true on cards. Should we make another one, or are we good? Are we done? Your call. Do we do another color or call it a night? So you like the horizontal one better? It is cute, isn't it? Let's do one more. Let's do Petunia Pop. Same side pieces. Yeah, it does. Doesn't it make a difference? A little bit. I'm looking at my Petunia Pop paper, and I only have these, so I'm going to have to pull one out of the old batch. Hopefully I have another one in there. We do. So this one you can't get anymore, but I'm going to use it anyway just because I don't have enough. So 3 3/4 by 1 inch. And then by 1 inch. And then this one, 3 3/4. Inch. And then I think we'll stick with horizontal. So 3 3/4 by 1 inch. And then we need another white piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. Get our ribbon. So if I want I have to think of how I want to do this. I need to do it this way. I should probably do it that way. I don't know. I don't know why I'm struggling with my knot tonight. I didn't struggle with it yesterday, did I? Let's just cut a piece of this off. Maybe that's what's messing me up because I can't get to the end of my ribbon. Hopefully I didn't cut it too short. No, it's fine. So that'll come around here when we're ready. And again, I think I'm going to do, I think the sentiment will show up best on that one. So you can see how quickly these go just using some of your scraps. If you know ahead of time what you're going to do, it's kind of like assembly line. I'm ultra focused apparently. I got real quiet there, didn't I? But nobody's chatting either, so I've got nothing to read to comment on. Did anybody kind of time to see how long this one's taking? I didn't look. We'll just let that hang out there for a minute. And I did clean the Versamark off between these just because I didn't want it to kind of build up and fill in like the letter on that, like the A. I didn't want to fill that in, so I wanted to make sure that I kind of cleaned it off a little bit. Because especially with the clear ink there, you can't necessarily see it. All right, here comes Baby Hank again. And I'm going to mute. All right, there we go. So who's making these cards? Allie, I'm guessing you are since you were confirming measurement. Anybody else? And you can really do it with any paper, of course. You don't need to do it with just this in color stuff, but because these are outgoing colors, I want to try to use up what I have left. Let's do just a smidge more off of here. And look at the seal again. Oh, that kind of turned on me. I need that down lower. Lower still. Yeah, we'll have to put more seal on there because I totally missed the mark. Yeah, it'll work with any paper, doesn't it? Just have some coordinating colors and you're good to go. Just trying to flatten out my knot a little bit. I got a little tag along here. That works. Now you could always put some glue dots. You know, if you're worried about this moving around at all, you could put glue dot somewhere where it's concealed for your ribbon. I think it'll be fine, so I'm not going to worry about it. This would be a good card for your seniors, wouldn't it? All right, time for a new pack of big dimensionals. I might have used more this time than I used the last time. I don't know. Did I put my Take Your Pick tool away? I must have. Yep, I did. Lori from Minnesota, welcome. When did you pop in? Did I miss it or did you just come in? Well, that'll be fun to do some senior group where she works. Nice. Now sometimes if you forgot to take one of your backings off of a dimensional, as long as it's not like on a corner, it wouldn't be the end of the world. More bling. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool this time. It's just so much easier. All right, 2 cards done. How much time did that take? Anybody know? I probably should have paid more attention, huh? So there's 2 for another flight. You're using this same painted illusions. All right, do we kind of get the idea, or do I need to keep going? Do you want to see all 5 of them done together? Or are you bored? And if you want to see the box again in the other colors, you'll have to just watch the replay and use your imagination. I'll make a box for each of the flights that I've got. And then decide who I'm going to send them to. I may do, I want to send one set to somebody, somebody that I have in mind. Not one of my, it's a family member I want to send a set to. But then I'm going to have a few other sets. So I'm thinking I should do some kind of, Suzanne, that's great. I think I'll just keep going then. We'll do 3 more. Won't take that long. I think I will do some kind of little contest to see who wants a couple of card flights. Well, a card flight, and I'll award a couple of them. We'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and do peach pie. All right, I see 136 on my timer. Let's see how long it takes me when I don't have everything all together, because I have to cut some more paper. And I'm just going to cut a few of these. Do the box again. I'll think about it. Since I've got my piece of white, I'm just going to make a few of these. And then we need that. And we need some peach pie ribbon. And I'm just going to cut a length. I'm using about 10.5 inches or so. Kind of loosened up on me a little bit. Oh, that tail got really long. Oh no, I guess it didn't. All right, let's find some of the Peach Pie Designer Series paper. I thought I burnished that. It's not laying very flat. All right, peach pie. We are almost out of these colors. Looks like I'm going to have to use okay, I got that one. Got that one. Oh, I think we'll be good. I think I have enough without going into the old pack. So we'll do 3. Oh, this is from the old pack though. That's all right. 3 3/4. An inch. An inch. And then this one, those stripes are going to go up and down. And we're going to do the sentiment on this piece again. I'm just tapping, I'm not squishing also because I don't want to fill in those letters. I think maybe my Versamark needs to be re-inked. I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute here because it doesn't seem like the letters are getting filled in enough. Maybe I'm just not tapping hard enough, but I don't want to fill in like the hole on the E or the A. And I'm just using my thumbnail to put that cut line so it's not flipped up. Because I cut on this side, so I had that kind of edge, you know, that we often see on the back of the paper. I think I have it in the right place this time. We'll see. So that can go there. Oh, that's better. All right. Baby Hank, and I'll mute it again. Get to your cleaning, woman. It'll be fun, they said. Who doesn't like to clean, right? Seriously, have a good weekend. And I hope you enjoy the time with your family or company. I think you said family was coming, so enjoy your time together. And don't stress too much. Hopefully they're not judging you on your house. They're judging you on how much fun you are to be with. All right, let's alley-oop. It's probably a little too late, but we'll just go through the motions. Alley-oop. Oh, I think I got them all. Sure did. Okay. Card number 3. Less than 10 minutes. Part of that was cutting for the other cards though. All right, so there's number 3. Let's do our summer splash. All right, let's find some summer splash paper here. I like this one. I think those are my 2 choices, these 2. That might be long enough. I can conserve some of my paper. Perfect. Summer Splash and the Shy Shamrock. I'm trying to think what would my favorite be. I think probably the Shy Shamrock. Because I do like greens. We'll do our sentiment on this one. Of the in colors that are staying with us from last year, Timid Tiger has turned out to be my favorite. And I have not done anything with Timid Tiger lately. Kind of crazy. There. Yeah, that'll work. Trying to think which one I wanted on the bottom. Close to emptying out a bottle of glue. They're all quite pretty though. I think. Alley. Yeah, Secret Sea, I'm hoping when they do the color refresh, I hope Secret Sea stays. Let's clean this off just because I don't remember if I did. And I'm going to use a different Versamark pad that may have been refilled more recently. I'm just going to let that sit. Does anybody have any fun plans for the weekend? I don't think I have anything planned, but there is an event in the village where I do my coffee and cards. So I know there's one of the quilting stores is having something. And then the coffee house is there. Squingilli's, which is a little Italian restaurant. Maybe we'll do some lunch. And I'm going to mute my sound again. All right, I think Baby Hank cooled off quite a bit. Took me a little bit to get that embossing powder warmed up. It's kind of satisfying to go through and use up almost all of my stuff. So Allie, you're going to be doing videos, cleaning house, and going to church. Sounds like a productive weekend. Well, we'll have to decide what color box I need to make if we're going to do a second box. All right, we're down to Pretty in Pink. That'll be the last one. Pretty in Pink. All right, so this is from the old set because that's all I have left. This is the last of my Pretty in Pink 3 3/4 Shy Shamrock. Oh, that didn't work. Well, you'll have some peace and quiet then. If the boys are gone golfing, Lori, it's not such a bad deal. For me, it'll kind of depend if it's raining, because there are some things I would like to start getting done in the yard. But we've been having rain and bad weather so much. Who knows if it'll happen. Well, I think this bottle of glue is almost petered out. But no worries, because I have more. New bottle. It's kind of nice having my own store because, like adhesives, I can sell straight up. So if I have somebody come over, it's a cash and carry item. So if they need glue, I can sell them glue. If they need dimensionals, I can sell them dimensionals. Some things like stamps and dies, we cannot cash and carry. They have to order that through the website. And that's partially so that demonstrators don't get stuck with inventory. And then, you know, end up spending a lot of money that they can't get back. Because that would not be a fun thing. Whoops. You are hoping for rain? We've had floods by us. Like, what did I see? It was like 12 feet, I think. Above where it should be. I think our record is like 16 feet or something when we had the flood in 2017. Luckily, I'm not close to a river, but our neighboring communities have rivers that it's caused some trouble. Our yard is just super, super wet. Let's do our nut. Yeah, some of the streets in Milwaukee, and even by us, they closed some roads. We had not this week, but last week when we had all the tornadoes, we had more tornadoes in 1 week than we had in all of 2025. And with the tornadoes, there was just a ton of rain. So that's where all of our flooding came from. Oops, I guess I cut that a little too short. So the flooding was so bad in 2017 that one of our neighboring communities had to rebuild a bridge because the water was so high, it undermined the bridge and it was no longer safe for vehicle traffic. So, bad news. All right, I'm going to mute one more time here. All right, I think we're done with Baby Hank. It's all the colors. So I can put these things away. We can clean our stamp. And what stamp set did I use? Or a better question would be, where did I put it? Here it is. So this is one of those last chance items. So if you like this set, try to get it before it's gone. And here are the coordinating dies. Beautiful motifs. If you decide to get them from the last chance list, remember, don't buy the bundle. It'll cost you more. Buy the individual items. All right. Let's go ahead and glue this one down. Whoops, I didn't have the cap on there again. There we go. I think my Just a Note might be a smidge. No, I was thinking maybe it was a smidge crooked, but it might just be the paper design because it's irregularly colored. So Minnesota might be the state of 10,000 lakes, but I think Wisconsin is right up there because so many of the fields by us, farm fields and that, they are flooded that they look like lakes. And I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating. There is that much flooding. So if we could send some of our water your way, believe me, we would. Oh, Juju, you're getting rain all day, huh? We didn't have anything today. We had beautiful weather today. It was supposed to rain today, and it didn't, although we had just a little bit of sprinkles this morning, but nothing measurable at all, which was nice. And then it's supposed to rain again tomorrow. So that'll be a joy. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Okay. Let's I'm surprised I used so many of these embellishments too. I probably would have used more of them if I didn't realize they were in there. I thought I didn't have them. We'll do this one over here. Oh, he was fishing in a flooded field. I shouldn't laugh, you know, poor him. I bet the fish weren't biting. All right, so there we go. And did you say we're doing Shy Shamrock? Was that the, Allie, I think that's what I saw with Shy Shamrock. I think this one's a little long. All right, let me get a piece of Shy Shamrock. And let me get our flight out of the way. Dimensionals put away. Ruler, ribbon. Let me just clean up a couple of these things here. I had a lot of that unrolled. Okay, so let's get our trimmer, and we're gonna do 8.5 by 9 5/16. Let me move my flights here. Get rid of this too. And I probably don't even need this right now. It's just making my stuff slide. So we're going to go to 9 15/16. So if we go to 10 inches and just back off one line, one peg, one segment. All right. So 8.5, you don't have to cut that short side. And then we're going to 9 15/16. And then we can get rid of the arm because all of my scoring is going to be over here. We're going to score at 1 inch, but just, if you're using the right hand side, we're going to go to just under 1 inch, like a 32nd of an inch. Get your trimmer, your cutter out of the way, and just score. And then we're going to move that line over to the inch and just have it this way, just a smidge. And I was being kind of aggressive there. I forgot I wasn't doing the window sheet. And we're just going to do that all the way around. So not quite a 1/16 of an inch shy of 1 inch, but about a 32nd. You with me? And I'm using my score line to take it over to that inch mark and have it just a smidge shy. And then I'm just kind of highlighting where our folds are going to be. Not burnishing quite yet, because we'd have to unfold them and then burnish them again. All right, you with me? Sorry, need some of my water. How you doing? It might end up being just you and me, Allie. Maybe Suzanne's still here. All right. Oh, Juju, you're still here. Cool. All right, Allie, I'm going to go to the next step. I'm hoping that you're with me. All right. So on the long edge, we're going to cut up on our score lines. Now, you want to make sure that you, on this outside set, you want to leave that mountain behind. All right. And then on this side, you want to have the mountain attached to that middle piece. So this piece should have mountains on each side with it. Okay. I'm just going to fold this a little bit more. And just go up to that second score line. And then turn the paper 180 degrees and do the same thing. Leave those mountains behind on that center piece because we're going to end up cutting that off. And we want those mountains to go with it. I don't play solitaire much anymore. I used to play it a lot, quite a lot. Well, I'm sorry, Suzanne, that your back's hurting. Sometimes I'll lay on the hard floor and put my feet like up on the couch on a pillow because the hard floor helps straighten out my back. All right. So Allie, we're going to cut off those middle tabs as close to the mountain as you can. If you take the mountain with you, all the better. And we actually got a new bed in December. I think it was December, where you can put the foot of the bed up and the head of the bed up differently on each side. So I can have mine up as high as I want because I like having my feet up so that I can let my ankles stop swelling. So here's what we should look like. You're all good there, Allie? So now we're going to go through and we're going to burnish everything. Just like the middle sections. You don't have to really burnish the tabs. That doesn't matter so much. And then we'll get our tear and tape. And find the end. There it is. And we're going to put that just on the middle sections. And I suppose it really wouldn't matter so much if you just tore it. I just wanted mine neater so I didn't have any adhesive hanging over any edges. And I'm going to burnish that adhesive on, that tear and tape I'll burnish to my paper. And then these short ends, we can go ahead and flip out an end. And you could probably flip out both ends if you wanted. So then on the long sides, you can peel off your backing and fold it over onto itself. So you've got a double wall, a double thickness wall. It makes for a sturdier box. Okay. All right, our tabs then, we're going to get ready to miter cut. All right, we're going to miter cut the outside edge, because this side I want, so this is what I wanted here. So I think it works better to figure out how you have to miter it when I attach these right away. So when we were looking at my template and we had to miter this inside edge, when I did my other sample, I mitered the wrong edge. But we want to miter the inside edge because when it comes over here, we want the flat edge on the bottom. So it keeps it nice and straight. So if you fold these over, you know that you want the bottom flush, so you're going to miter the outer edge here. And it doesn't have to be mitered a lot. Okay, you with me? Now you could actually cut these tabs off if you wanted. Half of the tab, I mean, because it'll go inside. I'm just going to leave the whole thing on for me because I think it just gives it more stability. But you could certainly cut off that outside inch. Okay. You with me, Allie? All right. So I'm going to line these up. I want to make sure that they're kind of flush in here so that when I fold this over, they're not getting hung up. Okay. And you want to just match up your corners so that they're not bowed out or too far in. Okay. So then I'm going to just peel my adhesive backing. And then we don't have any exposed flaps. And we have a nice, pretty corner. So yes, you can see the edges where it's open, but to me, it makes for a very pretty corner. Now, if you wanted to get fancy schmancy, you could probably weave some ribbon in here before you fold everything down to make like a bow around your box this way if you wanted to, depending on what look you're going for. It would be a little more putsy, but you certainly could. All right. And then we're just going to do this other side the same way. I want to make sure those ends are flat so that when I put my sides down here, it's not catching on anything. And make sure you've got your corners in where you want them. And burnish. So you've got a nice neat inside and a nice neat outside. No tabs. And I'm making sure I burnish down where the tear and tape is too, not just on the edge. Yeah, that would be fancy schmancy, wouldn't it? But then if you put your cover on here, if you have ribbon around here, you wouldn't really need the ribbon around there because that would be a lot of ribbon. All right. So there's those. Let's get some envelopes. See how nice those fit? So you basically just got about an 1/8 inch if you've got it flush. Hi, Robert. But if they're centered, you've got about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Now these, because of where the knot is, every other one, you'll do flipped if you feel like you want to have them flat, and then you'll make your lid. So Allie, you're kind of on your own for your lid for the second one. We don't need to do that again, do we? Because I do not have a wide enough piece of a window sheet over here. I'd have to pull out another pack. So your window sheet is just going to be 6 7/16 by 7 15/16. So 6.5 minus 1 notch, and then 8 inches minus a notch. And then just score it at 1 inch all the way around. Cut out the corners. And score or burnish and tuck. All right. So there we go. So far we've done 4 flights. And 2 boxes. And then again, like with this one, if I did a ribbon around the outside, like I showed you earlier, I would put a tag on it, a nice little tag, so that whoever's receiving it has something pretty. So you could make a tag, you know, with some foliage pieces, or just make a tag with some of the designer series paper. So I'm glad you liked it, Allie. I'm glad it worked out for you. I'm glad you were able to do it with me. Hopefully my pace wasn't too painstakingly slow. So there's our flights. Flights and boxes. With all of the outgoing in colors. So don't forget my special through the weekend. So through midnight Sunday Central Time in the US here. If you purchase $20 or more from my store, I will gift you 5 card bases, 1 in each color for the outgoing colors. If you purchase $40 or more from me, I will gift you all 5 of those color card bases, plus enough ribbon to do at least 1 card, probably enough ribbon to do 2 cards in case you cut those card fronts in half, or the card base in half. And then if you do, let's say, a $60 order, I'll gift you a box of cards. How's that sound? We'll do 20, 40, 60. So that's just through the weekend. So through Sunday night. So they're all flying off to other friends. Yes, they are. Because that's what we should be doing with our cards, is sending them off. Because that's how we share our creativity with others. Send them some happy mail. All right, thank you everybody for hanging out with me, watching how we did our flights and our boxes. Kind of a unique box design. I'm gonna call it a night. I appreciate everybody coming in. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up on your way out, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Feel free to share my video and to case the cards. If you do any cards like this or just random cards as well, make sure if you are selling your cards that you have the angel policy that Stampin' Up! Requires, that you're complying with the angel policy. And that means you have to do that copyright Stampin' Up! On your card. I usually do those on the backs of my cards, like here. So you want to make sure that you've got a stamp that says the copyright Stampin' Up! So, you know, like this on here. I have a few sets from over the years. So there are some different options. There's a new one coming out in the new catalog. And I'll be getting that one too. I think I have a box arriving tomorrow. So I may have some new goodies. So thanks for popping in, everybody. I'm going to say goodnight. It is almost 2:30 in the morning by me, and we've been doing this for a couple of hours. Excuse me. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy crafting. So the box bottom is, no, it's 8.5 by 9 15/16. So before you do your scoring, that's the size of your sheet. Just watch the replay, Allie, and I had my template out there so you can do a screenshot of it if you want. So it's 8.5 by 9 15/16, so almost 10 inches. Anise, welcome. Have you been here the whole time? I think it was you that wanted the box. So if you haven't been here the whole time, you'll need to watch the replay because I did it twice. Yeah, you'll need to watch the replay if you want to see the box. So here's the box with the lid. If we wrapped it with ribbon, you'll see that earlier. But a nice crisp box. Here's the one we just finished. I didn't put the lid on it yet, but you can see there's no normal tabs that you normally see when we make a little box. So I intend to go to sleep after I eat something because my stomach is growling. All right, so like I said, oh, it wasn't you. Okay, I don't remember who it was that asked for the box. But if you just got here, go back and watch the replay anyway. You might enjoy making the box. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. I will see you next time. Happy crafting.